What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, I'm going to be doing a tier list for the coin shop commandments. So let's get into the video. Before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to 10k subscribers, and at the time of recording this video, I'm at 8.48k subscribers on the YouTube channel. Turn on post notifications if you want to stay up to date with anything 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross related. And with that out of the way, let's hop into the video. Alright, so in this video, we're going to be doing the tier list for the coin shop commandments. We're going to be ranking them 1 to 9 because we do not have Grey Road in the game yet. So we only have 9 coin shop commandments here. But as you guys can see, these are all of them right here. I've downloaded all of them and put them in a tier list here that I created. And we're actually going to be going over where we rank them in the top 9, basically. It's the only top 9 because there's only 9 of them. But yeah, I'm going to be ranking them from best to worst, or from, you know, worst to best, whatever the case. I'm just gonna be ranking like each unit. Like, we're just gonna be taking each unit out and going over their kit a little bit, and then just slotting them in a slot, I believe. We might have to change it up at the end a little bit, just because I don't know if I'll feel confident, or just because like starting off it's gonna be a little hard for the placements. But we'll see just how it goes. We'll just go with the flow. Yeah, so let's hop into the first unit, being Blue Droll here. Blue Droll is going to be a really good coin shop unit, man. I would say he's probably one of the best coin shop commandments out there, just because of how versatile his kit is, man. He's got a Petrify here. That's a really good support skill. As you guys know, Blue King has this. Red Helbram has this. It's a really good, just like basically incapacitates target enemy. The effect is removed when the target is attacked. So basically how it works, it's kind of like a stun that Goss Elizabeth uses, but the moment you apply the Petrify, they cannot do anything for 1 to 2 turns depending on the rank there. So really good skill. His passive, he's going to increase allies attack by 3% for every buff applied to the hero. So every buff that's applied on Blue Droll is going to increase the allies by 3% attack for every single buff that's on him. And this actually coincides well with his taunt skill here, because he's actually going to taunt enemies, increase HP related stats by 15%, and become immune to Petrify for 1 turn. This can scale up to 20%, 2 turns, 30%, 2 turns as well. And he's just going to be really good because of this. Like, this taunt is just very powerful. Like, Droll will drop this taunt, he'll do his ultimate, and he'll full heal. Like, that's how much HP related stats he actually gets. So he's able to just have like broken ass lifesteal. So that's really good right there. And then if you guys don't know his commandment here, Commandment of Patience, apply a buff which increases resistance by 30% for 3 turns every time an ally or enemy receives damage from skills in PvP. So basically every time he takes damage, he's going to get a resistance stack, but it also applies for the enemy as well. So you got to kind of like work around that. And if the enemy's attacking into your Droll, you're actually going to be increasing your attack by 3% every time they attack into you, up to 3 times, because you get 3 stacks of resistance there. So he's actually really good because of that. And I think Blue Droll stats are very good as well. Very solid all around. And then his ultimate here is going to be inflicts charge damage, 455% of attack on all enemies, and this can scale up to 683% of attack at 6 out of 6. Very powerful ultimate. If you guys don't know, the charge effect is actually used on Lost Female Meliodas in his second skill for his AoE. So he's actually just like, you know, think of that skill, but just like powered up like a insane amount, right? Blue Droll is a really good unit, especially on this tier list here. I'm definitely going to give him a high ranking because I feel like he's very good. It's hard to kind of say just like off the bat, but for now I think I'm going to have him in the 3rd spot or the 4th spot here. Interchangeable, we'll have to see, but for now I'll leave him in the 3rd spot. And then at the end of the video I'll definitely do like a redo of the entire tier here. Because I don't know if I'm going to feel confident with all 9 just going like 1 by 1. But that's going to be Blue Droll right there. And then the next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Green Derriere. So Green Derriere is the coin shop unit for Derriere here. For her first skill, she's going to deplete ultimate move gauge on a single target. So Green Merlin card, if you guys don't know. For a passive here, no enemies can fill ultimate move gauge by moving skills. Very powerful passive here, because it makes it so that the enemies cannot ult rush unless they are using cards. And it kind of works well when you're running her on the Assault Meliodas team. And then her second skill here is going to be fill ultimate move gauge AoE, so it's going to scale up to 300% of attack and fills 2 gauge, which is very powerful. If you guys don't know Derriere's commandment as well, decreases the damage of ranged skills by 35% in PvP, applies to both allies and enemies when entering battle, excludes ultimate moves. So it's actually going to lower the ranged skills by 35%, and you're actually just going to be, because Derriere only has physical hits, so it's not going to affect her, it's only going to affect the enemy or allies you have that are using ranged skills, right? So Derriere is really powerful because of that. And then her ultimate's going to be Amplify Ultimate, scaling up to 945% of attack at 6 out of 6. Very, very good. The only thing is with Green Derriere, she doesn't really have much viability other than in PvP on the Assault Mode team, and even then I don't think she's top tier on the Assault Mode team for that. For now it's going to be kind of hard to rank her because I don't really know a good spot to put her, but for now we'll put her in the 6th spot. I'm not too sure. We will have to go over this at the end of the video again, but for now I'm kind of confident in saying that Derriere is the 6th best coin shop commandment here. But yeah, like let's actually just get the one out of the way that I feel like is the worst coin shop commandment here. Let me just see here. Probably, okay, let's just do this. I think, okay, it's hard to say with Monsby, man. Okay, this tier list is kind of hard, but for now we'll do this, and then I'll actually just go through the rest. I think the rest is pretty accurate. Yeah. Maybe we bump Derriere up one. Keck W. But okay, yeah, so I just slotted a bunch of units in here, because I feel like this would probably make it easier for me. But yeah, no, you guys can see what we have so far, and then you'll probably be guessing what I have for the final bit. But I don't know, actually, I don't know if I should even put in S-Rosa that high, but it's okay. For now, we'll leave it at that, and we'll actually just go over the units. Let's go over Fraudulent, because you put him in the bottom slot. The reason I think Fraudulent is the worst coin shop commandment, he does have viability in cheese strategies for tower trials and other hard content like that, but other than that, he's actually useless. He's only really used for his passive right here. When the hero dies, removes debuffs from all allies and fills the ultimate move gauge to max. I feel like that's the only like use Fraudulent really has. He has a reflect card too, and a shatter card, but if you're going to be abusing his passive, you're not even going to be leveling him up anyway. So with that out of the way, I think Fraudulent would probably be the 9th slot there. But he does have his uses, and none of these coin shop commandments are bad, by the way. They're all very good, even if I put Fraudulent in the worst slot here. But he's still very good. Okay, so that's going to be Fraudulent right there. Just a quick little go over of him. Monspeed is going to be the next unit we put on the tier list. Monspeed is not a bad unit as well, but the only thing with him is that he cannot apply debuffs for his passive and his weak point skill unless it's on his ultimate, which I feel like is kind of a hindrance, because if you have an ultimate that applies a debuff, but you cannot apply it until you get the ultimate to actually boost your kit, it's just not really that synergistic in my opinion. Like it is, but you know, you're not going to be able to get the ultimate easily. It's kind of hard to just pull it off. But you can still use Monspeed with other units to kind of, you know, compensate for that with their debuffs. But yeah, for his kit, you know, he's got his weak point skill, single target, which is a very good skill. For his passive, he's going to increase the hero's damage dealt by 100% when attacking ignited enemies. So this stacks on top of weak point as well, by the way. So if you're attacking an ignited enemy, you get the triple damage on weak point, and then also 100% on top of that for weak point damage. So just very powerful right there. And then for his second skill, he's going to have Black Fire. Basically how it works is it's going to delete 2 skills randomly on the rank 3 and also remove 2 gauge from the enemy as well. It's actually a really good skill because it even though it deletes cards randomly, it has the ability to delete the cards that the enemies are using that are super important, right? It could delete a bonk card, it could delete a shield from Liz, it could delete a stun. It could delete literally anything, and I feel like that just helps boost Monspeed in his viability. For his commandment, though, his commandment of Reticence prevents ultimate move gauge from filling through skill use in PvP, applies to both enemies and allies when entering battle. So this is kind of like the opposite of Green Derriere's passive. So when I showed you guys Green Derriere's passive, no enemies can fill ultimate move gauge by moving skills. The difference is with Monspeed is that prevents ultimate move gauge from filling through skill use. So you cannot gain gauge through skill use, and you cannot, if you're running Derriere with him, you cannot actually move skills to gain ult gauge right there. So it's kind of like, you know, if you run Green Derriere and Green Monspeed, it's kind of like a counter ult rush team right there. Not too bad. And then yeah, as I was explaining, this is going to be his ultimate right here. Removes stances from all enemies and inflicts damage equal to 285% of attack or 280% of attack. Applies 2 ignite effects for 4 turns, and this can scale up to 420% of attack in each level, increasing the amount of ignites by 1. So 420% of attack, not really too crazy. But you already start with 2 ignites, right? So you're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to get 8 ignites. Or actually, no. It would be 7 ignites because I counted one of them. Yeah, you'll be getting 7 ignites on the rank or on the 6 out of 6. and you're actually just gonna do 420%, which is not bad. And then also with your weak point and your passive here, if you can get off the ultimate with Monspeed, he's actually gonna put in a lot of damage. But I think it's kind of hard, and he has like not really much of a niche. Or I mean, like, his kit is kind of niche in terms of what you can do with it. You kind of have to bring like a unit to kind of support him with debuffs, like a Kyo, or like another unit that applies Ignites, Radiant, Meliodas, whatever the case. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna put Monspeed in the A slot, because I don't feel like he is very beneficial, really. I feel like he doesn't do the most, you know, if you guys get my drift. But yeah, the next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Redzelda. And Redzelda, the reason I put him in the 7th slot, you know, sorry Sora, but I don't know if I could put him really much higher, maybe like 6th or 5th. But you know, Galland, I'd say Galland he's not a bad unit. He actually is very good, and he's top tier in Crimson, actually, surprisingly. You actually do use him in Crimson if you don't run Redzelda, because he is just like, he's a way to like kind of cheese the amount of damage you can do to the Crimson Demon. Because of his passive, strength attribute heroes ignore 30% of the enemy's defense when using skills. So basically how this works, if you run 2 Gallons in Crimson Demon, you can kind of ignore 60% of the Crimson Demon's defense, and it kind of just go in on the Crimson Demon right there. So he's just very good because of that. He has Shatter single target, and then he has remove buffs and cancel stances single target, not too bad. And then his commandment here, Commandment of Truth, petrifies allies and enemies who have used rank up and rank down skills for 2 turns, does not apply to deathmatch, applies when entering battle. So this is kind of like a counter commandment when it came out to Redzelda, when he initially came out, because Gallon was here to try and counter the Redzelda rank ups. He also counters like Blue Lilia's ultimate that like D ranks. So if you have any like ultimate that D ranks, or like a card that does that, Gallon is actually going to petrify you for that, which is actually very good. And then his ultimate here is going to increase the hero's basic stats by 50% for 3 turns and inflicts 420% of attack on one enemy. And this can scale up to 630% of attack at 6 out of 6. The only thing with Gallon, I feel like if he had better stats, because his CC is kind of low, his defense like stats aren't really too crazy either. Like, you know, 20% crit defense, 20% crit resistance, and then just like, you know, 20% resistance. He's not too great in the defense related stats or for that, but yeah, like his passive though is really good. Like ignoring 30% of the enemy's defense is just actually pretty good. If it was defense related stats though, Gallon would actually be like one of the best coin shop commandments. But yeah, no, not to say he's a bad unit, but there's just other coin shop commandments I feel like are going to be better than Gallon, so we're going to give him the 7th slot right there. The next unit we're actually going to be going over is going to be the Gloccini here. So let's actually just open up Gloccini. Gloccini, the reason I give him the 6th slot under Derriere, the reason I give him that is just because Gloccini has some, like, you know, utility here. He has the cleanse card, which is pretty good. It's also a heal. He also has the use of like a skill that only allows the use of rank 1 skills for 2 turns at the most, which is actually very good to kind of counter Redzelda as well, or Green Gilther. Because if you use this skill and they do a rank up, their whole hand is sealed, like literally. So I feel like that's a pretty good skill right there. And then for his passive here, he's going to fill the ultimate move gauge by 1 orb when the hero's skills rank up. Excludes rank up skills from the skill or unique effects. Whenever Gloccini like merges a card, basically, you're actually just going to get your gauge. So that's not too bad right there. So you can't actually get it from the rank up effect, but just merging cards, you actually gain gauge with Gloccini, which is very good. And then for his commandment here, Commandment of Repose, decreases attack related stats of the hero who used 2 or more skills in 1 turn by 30% for 2 turns in PvP. Applies to both allies and enemies when entering battle. Applies before the 2nd skill is activated. So the moment they activate the 2nd skill, they're actually going to be lowering their attack by 30% attack related stats, which is a lot of attack related stats down, because if you actually apply this on the 1 Esnor, he actually just does not do damage. If you guys have seen like Seaton's videos on Red Glocks, he can actually kind of clutch up if you use his commandment correctly, man. So that's pretty good right there. And then for his ultimate, he's going to inflict ruin damage equal to 560% of attack on 1 enemy, and this can scale up to 840% of attack at 6 out of 6. Ruin damage is just increased damage depending on the amount of debuffs, 30% extra damage per debuff, and then it removes it from the enemy. So yeah, Red Gloccini, a very solid unit. I'd say he's definitely above all these other units down here in viability, maybe even better than Green Derriere in my opinion, actually, because he does have his uses. But I do think that he will be better than the Green Derriere there. So now we have 3 units down here that I'm going to be putting in the slots. I'm thinking we actually move Blue Droll up to 2 here, because my slot ranking here is going to change a little bit. But we're going to put Redzelda in the #1 spot here. We're gonna go over Redzelda. And the reason I put Redzelda in the #1 spot is because he has the most versatile kit of the coin shop commandments. He has, he can be a support unit, he could be a DPS unit, he could be basically anything for you that you need because of how his skills work and how his passive is relegated as well. But if you guys don't know, he has a deplete ultimate move gauge skill, single target, just like Green Derriere, just like Green Merlin. Very good card right there. His passive is going to increase the ally's basic stats by 6% for each ally or enemy with a commandment. So he's going to be boosting the ally's stats by 6% per commandment on the team. And that's actually going to be like super beneficial for the team if you're running like a full commandments team or an assault mode team. Because you're going to be getting a lot of boosted stats for the team there, man. Very powerful passive right there. And then his second skill is going to be a disable recovery skill card, which is actually a lot better when he initially came out because you could use it against cleanse units like Blue King and Blue Lilia. But over time it has lost its value a little bit just because people don't really run cleanse anymore. They kind of just run like straight up DPS. But if anyone is ever running a cleanse unit, Redzelda can seal that, so they cannot do any healing effects right there. You're just gonna kind of like finesse them, which is pretty good. And then also explaining earlier about the DPS thing, his ultimate is spike damage, which is double crit damage on the ultimate. If you crit, can scale up to 400. His ultimate can scale up to 840% of attack as well, which is very, very good. And Zelda's stats are just actually cracked. Like, look how much CC he has and look at all of this. He just has nutty stats, man. I think Redzelda is top 10 in the CC rankings, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. He might be either top 10 or top 20, but he definitely is like at the later half of top 10. Which is still very good in PvP if you're trying to go first, because he just has cracked CC, man. So that's going to be Redzelda right there, and that's why I'm going to give him the rank 1 spot. And then for the rank 3 and rank 4, I'm going to give Estarossa the rank 3 and Melacula the rank 4. You know, no bias or anything. I just feel like Melacula has gotten a lot more viability because of Salmo Meliodas. But let's actually just go over her real quick. Salmo Meliodas has made Melacula such a good unit, man, because Melacula's passive here revives an ally that dies. The revived ally's HP is fixed at 1 for 3 turns. Limit once effect is removed when the hero dies, applies when entering battle. Basically, what Melacula provides for the assault mode team is actually makes it so that they have to attack into Melacula if they want to take out Salmo Meliodas. If they want to kill Salmo Meliodas, you have to kill Melacula first, because if you go for him, he's going to get revived by Melacula's passive, and then he's just going to start popping off on the enemy team. So just because of that alone, I feel like Melacula does get some pretty high like spots there. You know, like, unbiased opinion, by the way. I just feel like she has a lot more PvP viability than a lot of the other coin shop commandments here. She definitely has more viability than all these 5 under here. She could probably be like higher than Estarossa, but we'll give Estarossa the benefit of the doubt because this kid is actually very good. But Melacula is a really top tier unit on the assault mode team. She has Inhale, which can kind of like heal your HP by a lot depending on like how much you heal. But basically how it works is it just takes the enemy's HP, like their max HP, and inhales a percentage of it and applies a debuff on them, right? So that's pretty good right there. And then she has a Blaze card, which does 25% damage dealt per ignite effect on the target. So she's going to scale up to 400% of attack as well, which is a very good skill. But yeah, and then Melacula's commandment here, Commandment of Faith. At the end of every turn, applies 2 ignite effects for 5 turns on the heroes who have not used skills in PvP. Applies to both allies and enemies when entering battle. This commandment has actually like gotten a lot more use, especially with the new Zeldas, the festival Zeldas that came out on JP, because you can actually use this to boost Zeldas' stats and the whole team stats, because of the way festival Zeldas' passive works, where the more debuffs on the enemy, the more basic stats you actually are going to get for your team. So that's very good right there. I feel like because of that, Melacula has gotten a lot of use in PvP, and in PvE she is very good for cheese strategies. Like, you know, if you're trying to beat Tower of Trials, she's very good for the second stage as a, you know, a cheese unit, because she can apply a revive and then just, you know, let that unit go pop off. So she's just very good because of that. But yeah, and then the final unit here that we're going to be going over is going to be Estarossa. And the reason I give Estarossa the 3rd spot is just because this kid is just so solid, man. It really is. He has a stance card here that taunts 600% of attack when taking hits. So he's going to do 600% of attack back on his rank 3. He has a charge single target card, which is also not a bad skill as well. And then his passive here, allies have their debuffs removed and when using stance skills and gain debuff immunity for 2 turns. So Esteros is able to apply a debuff immunity every time he puts up his counter, which is very powerful, and it counters his commandment which he has, the commandment of love, which decreases the attack related stats by 20% for 3 turns upon damaging an enemy with a skill. So if you actually do damage on the enemy, you're gonna get an attack related down. But if Esteros puts up the counter, he's actually just gonna cleanse that instantly. So that's just really powerful, man. It really is. And then for his ultimate, he's gonna make it so that he has a preemptive stance here before an ally is attacked, inflicting 300% of attack and disabling all attack skills for the 1 turn. And basically how it works is if you put up the ultimate, it delays the ultimate till the turn after, and the enemy gets to attack. If they attack into the ultimate will actually just hit and disable the rest of your skills for the turn, which is really good, man. You can use it as like a way to kind of rush an ultimate for a turn, because it's a free turn for you, because the enemy cannot damage you no matter what. If they use an ultimate, anything, it will be disabled and they won't be able to use it for that turn. So I feel like because of that, Esteros has a lot of synergy there, man. And I'm going to give him the 3rd spot in the tier list. So I think this is pretty accurate for a tier list here for the Coin Shop commandments. There probably is some stuff I could swap out. Maybe like put Galland up 1. Maybe I could put like Esterosa down 1 or up 1 and Droll down 1. But I definitely think Redzelda is the best Coin Shop commandment here. And Fraudulent is probably the worst in terms of viability for basically anything. I mean, Monspeed might be worse, but... you know, that's basically that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of my tier list. If you guys agree or if you would change up anything in this tier list. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.